And then the Dallas-New Orleans game. For me, it was a little easier. They said Taysom Hill was starting, and I kept telling my friends, man, he doesn't throw the ball that well. So look out for the turnovers. Then first thing you know, turnover. Then another one. Then another one. Then I think he had another one. I want to say he had like 4 turnovers, man. It's one of my easier picks for the week. Can you believe that? And I'm sitting here and I say the Detroit Lions are not going to go over. I tell everybody, but I didn't think that it would be this week. I mean, Captain Kirk gets knocked off by Jared Goff, and he threw the game-winning touchdown pass. Can you believe that? Now, I've been telling everybody about them Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts gets an ankle sprain. Now, in my fantasy league, early this year, I traded Dallas Goedert for Mark Andrews. People were saying I was goofy. This week, Gardner Minshew gets the start. Goddard goes for 2 TDs. And they're basically labeling me like a genius in the group chat. It's good times.
Hey, what's up, baby? Yeah, man. I don't be here much longer. How the girls doing?
I swear to God, man, you wouldn't even believe it. You can ask Rod, though. He was there. He looks at me in my face. I'm giving my game predictions. Tom Brady, Matt Ryan, same QB tier. He even told me that the Falcons were going to the Super Bowl. Can you believe that? Game number 1 on the slate, we got the Carolina Panthers versus the Atlanta Falcons. Now, y'all know I try not to go too hard on the home team because I got a lot of Falcons faithful that tune in week to week, and I truly do love y'all. However, the last time these two teams played, Carolina's defense went brazy, and that boy Matt Ryan threw 2 picks. Now, I'm not here to make suggestions. I'm here to tell you what it's going to be. Cam Newton is back, so you could count on Superman for the W. Game number 2 on the slate, we got the Cleveland Brownies versus the Baltimore Ravens. Now, last week, Lamar Jackson did all he could do and ended up coming up short by just 1 inch when they attempted to go for the 2-point conversion to knock off the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't see them losing 2 games back-to-back, even though I understand that they don't have any healthy DBs. But I got to make a decision, and therefore give me Lamar to do MVP-like things and walk away with the W. Shout out to my guy KT. Game number 3 on the slate, we got the Dallas Cowboys versus the Washington football team. Now, the Washington football team is one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now, and they've really grown since early in the season. They're starting to actually look like the team that we thought we would see in the preseason. Major love and admiration for that guy Taylor Heineke, who I've seen in person do his thing. And I say all that to say that Dak, Amari Cooper, and Michael Gallup are not one of them. Put your chips on Dallas to get the W. Game number 4 on the slate, we got the Tennessee Titans versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Titans are looking to avoid their 4th loss in a row. Rumor has it that they took an L last week during their bye. Fortunately, they have the Jacksonville Jaguars to tee off on, and in the end, I see the loser streak where the 2 or 3 games being snapped this week as the Titans get a W. Game number 5 on the slate, we got the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, me personally, I've been having a hard time pinpointing which Raiders team is going to show up. On the other side of the matchup, Kansas City seems to have fixed or treated some of their defensive woes, and they're looking like the KC of old. This week, they square off against one another, and I'm telling you, take the Chiefs. Shout out to Jet McKinnon. Game number 6 on the slate, we got the New York Jets versus the New Orleans Saints. Now, the Jets have struggled all season, but they seem to have uncovered a gem in Elijah Moore, who's putting up big numbers week in, week out. Unfortunately, this week he did show up on the injury report, so keep an eye out for that. On the other side of the matchup, Sean Payton rolled out his quarterback, tight end, fullback / running back, Taysom Hill, and he managed to throw for 4 interceptions versus the Cowboys. This week, these two teams square off against one another, and although I think Trevor Siemian gives them a better chance to win, I think the Saints can pull out the W. Game number 7 on the slate, we got the Seattle Seahawks versus the H-Town Texans. Now, last week, Seattle had a big-time win over the San Francisco 49ers, and I only see them riding that momentum. On the other side of the matchup, Houston has already announced that Davis Mills will be starting, and unfortunately, Tyrod Taylor has gotten benched again. Give me Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett to blow the doors off of the Dome. Game number 8 on the slate, we got the Detroit Lions versus the Denver Broncos. And I want to take this time to let the world know that this week, we didn't just lose another athlete or a sports figure, but we lost a hero. Demaryius Bebe Thomas passed away at the young age of 33, and I would definitely like to take this time out to have a moment of silence. The Detroit Lions did the unthinkable last week by knocking off the Minnesota Vikings. A lot of people in the sports world felt like they would not win a game this season. I was not one of those people. However, I didn't see them beating the Minnesota Vikings. On the other side of the matchup, we have the Denver Broncos being led by Teddy Bridgewater, who has been able to command his troops and get some convincing wins this year. I think that they right the ship, and I think they get the W over the Detroit Lions. And I would also like to comment that Kentrellis, a.k.a. Trail Showers, is the biggest Denver fan that I know. And I know his heart is with his family, and he's hurting right now. So I just wanted to take this time out to tell you that I love you, G, and I'm praying for you and your family's strength. Game number 9 on the slate, we got the New York G-Men versus the LA Chargers. Now, rumor has it that Mike Glennon won't be healthy and that Jake Fromm could be leading the troops this weekend versus the Chargers. On the other side of the matchup, the Chargers are coming off of a convincing win over the Cincinnati Bengals, and I see them keeping the momentum going and getting another W this week. Game number 10 on the slate, we got the Buffalo Bills versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, last week, the Bills were in a knockdown, drag-out, old school, back alley bar brawl with the New England Patriots, and unfortunately, we're on the wrong side of a beating. On the other side, Tampa Bay went to Atlanta with the intentions of lighting those guys up and aired them out the entire game. This week, these two teams square off against one another, and although Buffalo will be traveling to Florida, and I can predict that the weather is going to be nicer, I predict a heavy storm of Tampa. Game number 11 on the slate, we got the San Francisco 49ers squaring off against the Cincy Bengals. And similar to last week with Cincinnati versus the LA Chargers, I can't tell you who's going to win, but I'm not here to not make decisions, if that makes sense. So, with that being said, give me Cincinnati by 1 point over the San Francisco 49ers. Game number 12 on the slate, we got the Chicago Bears versus the Green Bay Packers. Ron. Game number 13 on the slate, and it's officially the game of the week. And it just so happens to fall on Monday night. We got the Arizona Cardinals squaring off against the LA Rams. Now, the LA Rams chose a different route last week and rolled out a super run-heavy approach early in the game where they featured their number 2 back in Sony Michel. At the end of the game, he ended up with 121 rushing yards. But the Rams also ended up with 37 points. Now, I know what you're saying. They played the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it really doesn't count. And I agree. On the other side of the matchup, Arizona just got back Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins to boost that offense. These two teams squaring off against each other, prime time, Monday night, under the lights. Give me Sean McVay to silence the doubters with a little Matthew Stafford on the side.